This is Halo Campaign Evolved running on the Xbox Ally X. Today in this video, I'm going to be covering gameplay performance and what you can expect while playing this on your handheld. I'm also going to be showing you the settings I'm using to get these results, and while they may not be the perfect settings for everybody, if you found settings that perform even better, be sure to go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below so everybody else can benefit from those as well. As always, I'm going to go ahead and start with the settings first before jumping into gameplay. If you're only here for the gameplay footage, feel free to go ahead and skip. If you're new to the channel and enjoy handheld performance and gameplay testing like this, consider subscribing, leave a like on the video, and let's jump right into it. So starting with the video settings first. Now, some options may seem grayed out on my end and may not be on your end. You may have extra settings that I don't, but as you go ahead and start to change a few things, you should start to see those changes happen on your end as well. For the graphics, I am using the very low preset, and then I changed the effects quality, the geometry, and the texture quality to low, while leaving everything else as very low. Under video, I disabled both screen shake and motion blur. They were a little too chaotic, and it just introduced a little bit too much that seemed like stuttering, so I completely turned those off. Personal preference, you can leave them on if you want. For upscaling, I am using AMD FSR set to high. If you're looking for a little bit more performance, you could definitely go ahead and switch this to medium, but you are going to lose some visual quality, so keep that in mind. Frame generation is also turned off, although if you want, you could go ahead and enable that if you like. Within the command center, I am primarily playing at 20-watt manual mode, but throughout the video, I will be also showing gameplay running at 35-watt turbo mode. The game is running at 1600 by 900, and all the AMD enhancements are disabled. If you want, you can play it at 1080p, but you are going to lose roughly about 8 to 10 FPS. You can also go ahead and switch AMD FSR to medium, but it kind of counteracts each other, so I would just leave it at 900. If at any point you're wondering which power profile I'm using, you can look at the right-hand side under APU. Wattage is shown there. I'll be switching between 20-watt manual mode and 35-watt turbo mode throughout the gameplay. During my testing, I found that the biggest difference between the two modes was in larger, more open environment. The opening mission does take place across a more larger beach-like area, and this is easily one of the more demanding sections that I've encountered. At 20 watts, the performance regularly dipped below 40 FPS, and switch it over to 35-watt turbo mode, push that performance into the mid-40s, and occasionally would spike into 50 FPS depending on where I was on the map. Obviously, the more the open environment became, the lower the frame rate did tend to be. Once you move into indoors like ships or underground areas or tightened corridors, the performance does improve considerably. Even at 20 watts, these sections generally hovered around 50 FPS, making them feel much closer to the experience I was getting at 35-watt turbo mode. Now, another thing to point out is that the cutscenes do appear to be locked at 30 FPS. I've seen this happen in quite a few Unreal Engine games recently, and I'm not sure if this is an Unreal Engine thing or if this is just something that the developers decide to design into the game. But as for what I know, there's no option within the settings to unlock this FPS. So later in the game, I tested another mission that's a little bit more enclosed. Here at 20-watt manual mode, averaged around 50 FPS, occasionally moving slightly above or below that target. Switching over to 35-watt turbo mode pushed the performance right up against 60 FPS at the capture limit. The game itself is capable of going higher, but my capture card is limited at 60 FPS. Even though there was still occasional dips here and there into the low 50s, overall performance remained pretty smooth. So there's one thing I can't explain. It was the difference in performance between 20 watts and 35 watts in certain areas, specifically in the enclosed levels. During the open beach mission, however, there was a difference when switching between the two. It almost feels like there's some sort of internal optimization that's keeping it at 45 FPS. I'm not sure if this is the FSR behavior or if there's another setting within it that I wasn't able to find or that I didn't know about, but it seems that switching from 20 to 35 watts still kept it at around 45 FPS. However, when I was in the other area and the FPS did tank, switching it did improve the performance. But in this certain situation, for some reason, it didn't. Now, scoping in, I was able to go up to 60 FPS, but as soon as you leave the scope, it goes right back down to what it was before. Outside of that, the game runs well. I didn't really run into any problems. I mean, it's Halo. There are a few modern quality of life additions like sprinting, but most of the part, it still plays like classic Halo. There's no mantle system, no climbing ledges, and your weapon zoom in is just basically Halo style zoom rather than a true aimed down sight. Actually caught myself trying to mantle over ledges quite a few times before remembering that this is just old school Halo at its core. It's definitely a player problem, not a game problem whatsoever. I also didn't notice any significant screen tearing while playing directly on the handheld. I did have VSync enabled, but that's mainly because my capture card introduces screen tearing during recording. On the Xbox Ally X itself, the experience did look smooth throughout my testing, so there's no issues there. Overall, once I found the right settings, Halo ran very well on the Xbox Ally X. I do wish that the visuals could be pushed a little bit higher while maintaining the same level of performance, especially compared to what you will see on better desktop PC or an Xbox console. Still, considering the hardware, it's a solid handheld experience and one that I have no problem recommending. So if you're looking to play Halo Campaign Evolved on your Xbox Ally X, definitely go ahead and check it out for yourself. That's going to be it for this one. If you happen to have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more handheld performance tests like this, and I hope to see you on the next one.